Hey everybody, it's me, Melly, and this is another logo concept sketch debriefing. This one is for PetTalk Media. And my client does a lot with communication, with social media strategy, with coaching, with actually creating content, including writing, graphics, game plans. And my client is also very interested in the outdoors and pairing the outdoors with her dogs. So she does do some cat consulting as well, but there's a lot of canine related content that she creates. And so in terms of the pet related focus, the canine is really more of a focus than the feline. So in starting out with my sketches, I just kind of did a brain dump and started doing, kind of communication type stuff, animal type stuff, started playing around with the collar there and the idea of the collar lighting up. When you see those boards surrounded by the blinking lights, etc., the marquees, the idea of bringing those flashing lights and that attention and that, hey, this is the next show, into the idea of communication, especially for the pet industry. Then I did some more sketches, some more specifically dog-related sketches, the idea of the communication, kind of having the hub branching off and exploding, almost like those spores, that spread the message. And then the idea started to come in of having the actual dog and the idea of kind of like that communication globe or that network, and then the RSS feed type thing spreading out. So that is continually being broadcast, the idea of broadcasting. Then that came in, I was working a little more closely with that, where I drew the sketch of the dog, kind of with the idea of the broadcast, and then in the background having, kind of content blocks back there, which could also be like, on the screens, when you have a screen and you are displaying like different channels at once, or the idea of having your browser open and having multiple browser windows kind of all resized so that you can see many things at once. So my client does social media marketing and different kinds of communication marketing, and so there's the idea of using many different channels at once, right? So the idea of many different channels on display at any given time. And then I started playing around with the idea of fanning out the content, the idea of having the nose, the idea of sniffing, so sniffing for content, sniffing for the connections. And so here's where the idea of the dog sniffing and then having the broadcast feed. And then this is kind of accessory. Again, I was just playing around with different elements to add to this concept. And then I started playing around a little bit more. So I just kind of, edited / polished this sketch a little bit with the sniffing. I thought about the idea of having the actual content, like documents, kind of fanning out. And then that just felt a little bit too, like, telecom for some reason to me. And then the idea of having the nose and the broadcast, sniffing out the right channels, and then having the PetTalk Media above and below. And then the final evolution of the concepts, I brought in some of my gouache paint. So the idea of having incorporating the outdoors and having the dog outside, having speech bubbles be the clouds in the sky, and then these are not final colors. This would probably be a different color, not black. But having that broadcast, up there, and then the communication spreading out, and then the dog and the outdoors definitely integrated as part of the concept. And then this one down here, I was working a little bit more with the sniffing idea, bringing in definitely not an actual font. This is just handwriting, thinking script, and then a tall, narrow sans serif. And then the idea of having the broadcast, maybe having the little bubbles towards other communication channels, maybe not. I kind of like the simplicity of having it without those extra bubbles. And then the idea of, adding some trees and the outdoor element into it as well. So those are the concepts. That is kind of the evolution, the process of the sniffing out a relevant and, powerfully distilled logo design, because your logo design really is the foundation of the rest of your branding. And so having something that is resonant, that encompasses the fullness of what you do, is super important. And I'm always a huge proponent of making it as unique as possible, so that it does encompass and broadcast your own unique essence, which will then magnetize the clients who, you know, are meant to work with you specifically, because you are unique and you are different and you are special. And so I very much believe in tapping into the soul and the power of the full you that is in your business, so that, you know, the right people understand and are attracted and lit up, and you're communicating and broadcasting and serving in the way that you are meant to light others up, as you are lit up by your own passion as well.